Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Let's go start now. Randy Orton delivered a memorable promo on the latest episode of WWE SmackDown, where he vowed to take down Kevin Owens, who put him on the shelf for months. Later in a backstage segment, Aldis announced that the Viper would take on Carmelo Hayes in his first match since his return. Orton showed up for the first since November last year at Elimination Chamber 2025, where he attacked his arch-nemesis Owens. On SmackDown tonight, he heartbreakingly revealed how the doctors had asked him to call it quits on his career in the aftermath of KO hitting a piledriver on him. However, Randy Orton made it clear that he was hungry to get revenge on Kevin Owens. The WWE legend was even involved in a backstage segment later in the show, where he confronted Carmelo Hayes, who was taking shots at him. SmackDown GM Aldis, who was also present there, quickly announced a match between the two performers for next Friday night, which goes down in Barcelona, Spain. Considering it will be Randy Orton's first match in months, there's little chance he would lose, especially in front of a European crowd that would firmly be in his support. However, a sneak attack from Owens could turn things in Hayes' favor. Aldis made a huge announcement regarding Randy Orton during the SmackDown 1000th episode, sending shockwaves through the WWE universe. This announcement was one of the biggest moments of the night, as Aldis, known for his charisma and no-nonsense approach, took to the ring with a purpose. The atmosphere in the arena was electric when Aldis grabbed the microphone, addressing both the WWE roster and the fans. He spoke with confidence, revealing that Randy Orton, one of the most iconic superstars in WWE history, would be returning to the company under Aldis's management. This marks a monumental shift in the landscape of WWE, as Orton's legendary career has been a topic of speculation for months. Aldis confirmed that Orton, who has been out of action for quite some time due to injuries, had been fully cleared to compete again. However, the nature of his return would be unlike anything fans had seen before. Aldis, ever the strategist, outlined that Orton would not be returning just as a competitor, but as a game-changer with a new purpose and attitude. He hinted at a major shift in Orton's persona, suggesting that Orton had become more calculated, dangerous, and unpredictable than ever before. The announcement drew mixed reactions from the crowd. Some fans cheered with excitement, while others questioned what this new version of Randy Orton would bring to WWE. The idea of Orton aligning himself with someone like Aldis was unexpected and intriguing, as Aldis has always had a reputation for being a strong-willed leader who doesn't back down from any challenge. His relationship with Orton could mean a new alliance that would change the dynamic of WWE's top storylines. Aldis went on to emphasize that Orton would be targeting top-tier talent across both SmackDown and Raw. He mentioned that Orton's first target would be someone who has been in his crosshairs for a long time, an individual who has disrespected everything Orton has built in WWE. The fans immediately began speculating about who this target could be. Names like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and even the newly returned stars like Edge were thrown around as potential targets for the Viper. The announcement wasn't just about Orton's return. It was also a statement on how Aldis planned to reshape WWE. He spoke about his vision for the future, where each superstar would be utilized to their full potential, not only as wrestlers, but as entertainers who would help push WWE into a new era. He made it clear that this would be a new chapter for WWE, one where only the strongest, most resilient superstars would thrive. In a final bold statement, Aldis promised that Randy Orton's return would be an event unlike anything WWE fans had ever witnessed. The anticipation grew as Aldis walked off, leaving fans buzzing about what was to come. Would Orton truly return as a changed man? And what would this mean for the current champions and top stars on both brands? This announcement not only generated excitement for Orton's comeback, but also raised several questions about his role in WWE moving forward. With all this now part of the equation, the future of WWE seemed poised for significant change. Fans were left eagerly awaiting the next steps in this dramatic storyline, wondering just how Orton's return would impact the entire WWE landscape. Aldis's announcement regarding Randy Orton wasn't just a one-off shocker. It was a masterstroke that instantly elevated the tension and stakes in WWE. As Aldis made his way down the ramp, the atmosphere was thick with curiosity, anticipation, and disbelief. His reputation as a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, combined with his strategic mind and no-nonsense persona, made it clear that his partnership with Orton wouldn't just be a footnote in WWE history. Instead, it would be a significant turning point. When Aldis revealed that Randy Orton would be returning under his management, it immediately signaled a shift in the direction of WWE's biggest storylines. The Viper, one of WWE's most dangerous and unpredictable superstars, was already a force to be reckoned with. But Aldis's involvement added a layer of mystery and intrigue. Orton, known for his devastating RKO and calculated mind games, would now have a fresh, perhaps more ruthless approach to his in-ring work. What caught the attention of fans and critics alike was Aldis's cryptic statements about Orton's transformation. He emphasized that Orton was no longer the same man who had been out of action for several months due to injury. "The Viper has shed his skin," Aldis said, "and the WWE Universe will feel the bite like never before." These words were not just hype. They were a declaration of war against the WWE locker room. It was clear that Orton's return would not be about nostalgia or simply collecting victories. It was about making a statement. The audience was left with more questions than answers. Why would Randy Orton align himself with Nick Aldis? What did Aldis see in Orton that made him such an appealing figure to manage? What would Orton's return mean for WWE's current top stars? Aldis didn't provide answers to all of these questions, but he hinted that his alliance with Orton would shake the very foundation of WWE, disrupting the status quo in ways that fans could not yet comprehend. The stakes were raised even further when Aldis mentioned that Orton had been working behind the scenes to prepare for his return. Orton has been studying, observing, and waiting for the right moment to strike, Aldis said. His time is now, and he's ready to dismantle any obstacle in his path. Starting with one target, the person who has disrespected him, who has challenged his legacy. The fans began to speculate, who could this be? Was it someone from the past, like John Cena or Edge? Or was it a rising star like Seth Rollins or Austin Theory? As Aldis continued to paint a picture of Orton's return, he began to unveil more details of their partnership. He described how he had worked closely with Orton to bring out the best in him, both as a competitor and as a leader. Aldis's words echoed the idea that Randy Orton was no longer just a lone wolf. He was now part of something bigger. The possibilities were endless. Would Orton help lead a faction, or would he remain a solitary force of destruction? This announcement also carried heavy implications for the WWE Championship scene. Orton had been a multi-time world champion, and with his return, the title picture would be completely reshaped. If Aldis's strategy worked, Orton could position himself as the ultimate challenger for the gold, with a renewed sense of purpose and an unwavering desire to leave his mark on WWE history. As Orton is known for his ability to strike when least expected, the timing of his return made it all the more dangerous. A renewed rivalry with Roman Reigns, the current tribal chief and dominant force in WWE, seemed all but inevitable. Would Orton challenge Reigns for the Universal Championship, or would he set his sights on a different target? The reaction from the locker room was expectedly mixed. On one hand, Orton's return could bolster the roster, bringing back a veteran who had experience in main eventing some of the most high-profile matches in WWE history. On the other hand, Orton's tendency to play mind games and inflict psychological warfare on his opponents could destabilize the pecking order in WWE. No one was safe, and Aldis's influence in the background would only make Orton's return even more unpredictable. Another key aspect of Aldis's announcement was the impact it had on the other superstars. The likes of Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Drew McIntyre were all rumored to be potential targets for Orton's wrath. Fans could already hear the battle lines being drawn, as these superstars would likely clash with Orton to prove their dominance. A potential rivalry between Orton and Rollins, for example, would be a dream match for many fans, with both men being known for their intense in-ring styles and psychological warfare. Moreover, Aldis's involvement in Orton's return shifted the focus from Orton's personal motivations to a much larger narrative. Aldis's vision of WWE was one where the strongest would thrive, and anyone who stood in the way would be eliminated. This message was clear. If you were not in line with Aldis's plan, you would be a target. The final moments of the segment were a perfect setup for the weeks to come. As Aldis left the ring, he teased more announcements regarding Orton's return, promising fans that the best was yet to come. The fans chanted Orton's name, eager to see him back in action, while others wondered how this new version of the Viper would fare in a rapidly changing WWE landscape. Nick Aldis's announcement on Randy Orton during SmackDown 1000 set the stage for a dramatic, unpredictable era in WWE. With Orton now under Aldis's guidance, the world would soon see a version of the Viper unlike any before. More dangerous, more calculated, and ready to make his return felt across the entire roster. The next few weeks promised to be explosive, as the WWE Universe waited to see who Orton's first target would be, and what this meant for the future of the company. Would Orton's new alliance with Aldis propel him to his next championship reign? Or would it be the start of a ruthless, world-shaking campaign that left chaos in its wake?